Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021, del 9 al 11 de noviembre en plataformas virtuales. Te invitamos a intercambiar sobre tendencias actuales en la enseñanza del inglés y el cambio climático en la educación lingüística. Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021, un espacio para conectar, intercambiar, crecer.
Estimados participantes en la Conferencia Bienal Inglés para el Desarrollo. La conferencia que hoy inauguramos es el resultado del trabajo sostenido del Ministerio de Educación con el Consejo Británico, a partir de la firma del Memorándum de Entendimiento en febrero del 2019, que se consolidó más tarde con el convenio de colaboración establecido en el 2020. Nuestro convenio pretende alinearse con los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible de la Agenda 2030, con énfasis en el Objetivo 4 de alcanzar una educación inclusiva y de calidad a lo largo de toda la vida. El Objetivo 10, enfocado a la reducción de las desigualdades, el 13, que aboga por una acción sobre el clima, y el 13 referido a las alianzas para lograr los objetivos. La colaboración del Consejo Británico es de gran significación para el Ministerio de Educación como soporte que permite avanzar en la estrategia para potenciar el aprendizaje del idioma inglés en la educación general. Es por ello que nuestro ministerio ha considerado a esta organización como el asesor principal para elevar el desempeño profesional de los especialistas que imparten esta asignatura en los diferentes niveles educativos. La capacitación de los docentes es un área clave en nuestro programa de colaboración, que incluye cursos para especialistas participantes en los colectivos de autores, la capacitación a docentes de todas las educaciones y el programa Mentores en Acción, con la presencia de expertos de primer nivel que forman parte de los escalones que nos han permitido llegar hasta este momento. Si bien estas capacitaciones presenciales han impactado de forma positiva en los docentes participantes en las mismas, ha sido importante también la posibilidad de replicar los conocimientos adquiridos a otros profesionales de su radio de acción. Es por esto que resulta de interés para nosotros englobar un mayor número de beneficiarios en los cursos que se vienen organizando con una mayor sistematicidad, ya que los docentes los perciben como muy provechosos para su práctica educativa. La llegada de la pandemia nos colocó ante la siguiente interrogante: ¿cómo saltar la barrera que nos impone una nueva situación que nos exige distanciamiento social, confinamiento y cambia nuestras formas de hacer cotidianas? En el escenario virtual encontramos una oportunidad y el Consejo Británico ha tenido un rol protagónico en esta nueva etapa de trabajo. Su colaboración ha permitido no solo continuar con las capacitaciones online para docentes de todo el país, sino también la participación en eventos internacionales. Es el escenario virtual el que nos posibilita hoy organizar esta conferencia bienal como parte del proyecto Inglés para el Desarrollo. ¿Por qué la conferencia bienal marca un punto de cambio? Al estar colocada en el sitio institucional del Ministerio de Educación, por primera vez se abre una oportunidad para que acceda de forma gratuita el 100% de los docentes de todo el país, lo que garantiza no solo la masividad, sino también igualdad de oportunidades. Durante 3 días en los seminarios diseñados se podrán apropiar de conocimientos referentes a nuevas tendencias a temas relacionados con el cambio climático y el cuidado del medio ambiente. Es de gran valía para nosotros que todos los materiales utilizados por los expertos queden en el sitio institucional como material de consulta, lo que hará que la conferencia tenga una continuidad más allá de los 3 días en que sesionará. Estimados participantes, aprovechemos al máximo cada curso y cada jornada de trabajo. Es necesario interiorizar que los escenarios virtuales ya forman parte de nuestra superación profesional y personal. Saberlos combinar de forma equilibrada con los cursos presenciales siempre serán importantes espacios de intercambio y aprendizaje. Esperemos que los saberes compartidos en este evento tengan un impacto positivo en el desempeño profesional de todos y que esto contribuya a elevar la calidad de nuestras clases para que se revierta en la calidad del aprendizaje que tributa al cumplimiento de nuestro objetivo como ministerio, potenciar el aprendizaje del idioma inglés en la educación general. Muchas gracias.
Las relaciones de colaboración entre el Consejo Británico y el Ministerio de Educación Superior datan de más de 20 años. Esta fructífera colaboración ha sido plasmada en convenios entre ambas instituciones y ha sido reafirmado también en convenios específicos que ha firmado el Consejo Británico con varias universidades del país. En este desarrollo histórico de la colaboración entre ambas instituciones viene a ser el momento de madurez, viene a marcar un momento de madurez la Conferencia Bienal Inglés para el Desarrollo que efectuará entre el 9 y el 11 de noviembre del año 2021. Esta conferencia es de alta significación y es una oportunidad importante para toda la comunidad universitaria cubana. En primer lugar, porque la preparación de maestros y profesores de inglés es un elemento importante para todos los niveles educativos. Y en la educación superior se forman los maestros y profesores en nuestra carrera de lengua extranjera, lo que responde también a uno de los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible esenciales, el número 4, que es la educación con calidad. Dos significaciones importantes también tiene. Primero, por la importancia de las temáticas identificadas, sobre todo aquellas relacionadas con elementos del marco común de referencia europeo para las lenguas, que es el marco al cual se ha acogido Cuba, precisamente en esta materia. Y otro elemento importante es la actualización en cuanto a tendencias en la enseñanza del idioma extranjero, de lo cual van a ser beneficiados tanto profesores como estudiantes. La conferencia se enfoca en las principales áreas de desarrollo de la capacitación de los profesionales, tanto en ejercicio como en formación. En primer lugar, porque está relacionado con la política de perfeccionamiento de la enseñanza y el aprendizaje de inglés en las universidades, un elemento muy significativo, pues no se considera un profesional universitario del siglo XXI que no domine un idioma extranjero, y en este caso el inglés, que es el que se ha decidido incluir en esta política. Además, en la conferencia se valorarán tendencias y enfoques contemporáneos para la enseñanza y el aprendizaje de inglés, especialmente la enseñanza comunicativa, que es una de las carencias más importantes que tenemos, y además los enfoques basados en procesos, en tareas y en proyectos. Y por último, el marco común de enseñanza de la lengua de referencia europeo es referente base para el diseño de cursos y evaluación del aprendizaje según estándares internacionales. De manera muy especial, la conferencia contribuye a la preparación científico-metodológica de los docentes, así como a la calidad de los procesos de formación en inglés de nuestros estudiantes, en tanto incide en el dominio de la competencia comunicativa de los niveles de inglés como lengua internacional, en el uso del inglés como instrumento para la gestión de conocimiento de las carreras universitarias, así como una vía para la elevación del nivel cultural y de formación de una cultura general integral en nuestros estudiantes. Es por ello que los invitamos a que aprovechen la oportunidad que tenemos en esta conferencia y que continuemos creciendo como educación superior en una de las metas más importantes que tenemos nosotros, que es realmente, dentro del objetivo de desarrollo sostenible, garantizar y asegurar una educación de calidad e inclusiva.
Estimados doctores Marlene Triana y Reinaldo Velázquez y otros ejecutivos de los ministerios de educación, además a los ejecutivos de las asociaciones profesionales de inglés y participantes todos en esta primera conferencia online Inglés para el Desarrollo. Es un placer para British Council colaborar con este evento de conjunto con ambos ministerios y los especialistas de inglés de la Asociación de Pedagogos de Cuba y la Asociación de Lingüistas de Cuba. Esta es la primera oportunidad de desarrollo profesional de tan amplia convocatoria que llevamos a cabo en el país, dirigida no solo a los profesores de inglés, sino también a los estudiantes de esta especialidad, con el objetivo de abordar temáticas de impacto y de actualidad en la enseñanza y el aprendizaje de este idioma. El evento que hoy inauguramos es posible gracias al esfuerzo conjunto de varias instituciones, y muy especialmente del comité organizador, de la Dirección de Tecnología Educativa del Ministerio de Educación y de 3 universidades: la Universidad Central de las Villas, la Universidad de Ciencias Informáticas y la Universidad de Cienfuegos. El British Council es la organización no gubernamental británica para las relaciones culturales y los intercambios educativos, con presencia en más de 100 países. Y en el caso de Cuba, nuestra oficina se encuentra radicada acá desde el año 1998. Nuestros valores compartidos para estimular la inclusión, la diversidad, la igualdad, la transparencia en ambientes libres de discriminación de cualquier tipo se reflejan ya desde el trabajo previo a este evento. Precisamente desde el escenario digital, la conferencia va a propiciar espacios de intercambio más amplios que puedan ser accesibles a maestros y profesores en activo y en formación de todos los niveles de enseñanza y a lo largo y ancho del país. Somos conscientes de la brecha digital existente, por lo cual no será posible impactar a toda la comunidad de profesores y estudiantes de lengua inglesa del país en este evento. Sin embargo, estamos trabajando de conjunto con los expertos y las instituciones cubanas para lograr ediciones posteriores de estos cursos en forma presencial e híbrida para que más profesores puedan tener acceso. Los registros a los seminarios virtuales muestran ya un alto nivel de interés de los profesionales cubanos, con más de 4.000 entradas de solicitudes recibidas de todas las provincias y el municipio especial Isla de la Juventud, con una mayor prevalencia del género femenino y una representación del espectro étnico-racial que se corresponde a las estadísticas generales del comportamiento de este indicador en el país. Nos complace constatar además que más del 50% de las solicitudes se corresponden a jóvenes menores de 35 años y que alrededor de 500 participantes provienen de zonas rurales o de difícil acceso. De igual modo, se ha tenido en cuenta que más de 60 personas refieren a algún tipo de discapacidad, para lo cual ya se les ha ofrecido asistencia adicional para que de este modo logren aprovechar al máximo este evento. La Conferencia Bienal forma parte de nuestro ciclo de acciones de colaboración Inglés para el Desarrollo y, como ha referido la doctora Marlene Triana en su intervención, es un momento clave dentro de este proceso de preparación, desarrollo profesional continuo, al que le siguen acciones de multiplicación, puesta en práctica, monitoreo y evaluación de estos aprendizajes. Los resultados de este trabajo conjunto están alineados con los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible de la Agenda 2030, como ya han expresado en esta inauguración. Precisamente en estos momentos se celebra la Conferencia de las Partes, COP26, en Glasgow, Reino Unido, donde los gobiernos de todos los países miembros de las Naciones Unidas claman y proponen acciones inmediatas para tratar de revertir la crisis existente en el medio ambiente a nivel global. El valor del tratamiento de esta temática en la educación lingüística contribuye no solo a generar conciencia hacia la protección del medio ambiente, sino que promueve la realización de acciones comunitarias en esta dirección. Quisiéramos, pues, hacer un llamado para continuar profundizando en las aulas sobre este crucial tema que atañe a la humanidad. Les agradecemos a todos su presencia y les invitamos a participar en la Conferencia Bienal Online Inglés para el Desarrollo para conectarnos, intercambiar y crecer. Muchas gracias.
Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021, del 9 al 11 de noviembre en plataformas virtuales. Te invitamos a intercambiar sobre tendencias actuales en la enseñanza del inglés y el cambio climático en la educación lingüística. Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021. Un espacio para conectar, intercambiar, crecer.
El programa de colaboración ha estado básicamente orientado a las necesidades de capacitación docente, de superación profesional y de desarrollo profesional de los profesores de los claustros de inglés de las universidades del Ministerio de Educación Superior. De igual manera, ha estado orientado a el programa de desarrollo, a la certificación de niveles de dominio del inglés y de las competencias para la enseñanza del inglés, así como a temas relacionados con el aseguramiento de un grupo de materiales y recursos de aprendizaje que nos han permitido poder facilitar y poder implementar las políticas nacionales relacionadas con el perfeccionamiento de la enseñanza del inglés en la educación superior.
De las acciones importantes que se han desarrollado con el Consejo Británico en estos 20 años, yo quisiera resaltar 3. La creación de los centros de autoacceso para el aprendizaje de las lenguas. Otro proyecto importante fue con el proyecto que se conoce como TKT, un proyecto que comenzó llamándose YES, un proyecto para Latinoamérica y el Caribe, y por eso fue que aunque inicialmente se prepararon 20 especialistas cubanos de todo el país y no se pensaba que hubiese otra oportunidad de examen internacional, ese examen duró por alrededor de 5 o 6 oportunidades más.
Otra de las áreas de nuestro trabajo es la administración de exámenes, básicamente el TKT Essentials y el IELTS. El examen de TKT Essentials fue presentado por el British Council en Cuba en el año 2009 como parte de nuestro proyecto de inglés. 600 maestros cubanos han recibido la certificación de TKT, exámenes de Cambridge subvencionados por el British Council de Cuba, y alrededor de 2.000 profesores de inglés han completado cursos de TKT entrenados por tutores de la propia isla. Estos profesores básicamente son de los Ministerios de Educación Superior, Educación y Salud Pública.
Otro ejemplo importante ha sido el Professional Award. Se debe decir que en el 2013 se hizo el proyecto piloto en Cuba.
My feeling was that if it can work in Cuba, it can work anywhere. And this was quite an important series there were 3 courses, each one of which was piloted in Cuba. And I also had the great good chance to meet the people who had been piloting it and get feedback direct. And everybody was very, as they always are in Cuba, very, very enthusiastic and felt that this had been a great benefit to them. And of course it was also of great benefit to me because with the feedback that I got from the pilot, I was able to make adjustments so that the course became usable. I think altogether in the 4 programs we've trained almost 100 teachers. They're trained to be trainers, to be teacher educators, and that means that they can go to wherever they're working and deliver courses to the standards expected by the British Council, and they can use British Council courses and resources.
Cada director de la oficina del Consejo Británico ha desarrollado un grupo de eventos y actividades y que se han desarrollado inclusive no solo en un solo escenario, se han desarrollado en varios escenarios y no solo en la ciudad de La Habana. Hemos contado con actividades mucho más recientes en el interior del país, por lo tanto se ha abierto un abanico para que el conocimiento no solo se concentre en un solo lugar.
Por ejemplo, en el programa de inglés hemos incluido el adiestramiento a jóvenes generaciones, como lo estamos haciendo a través de dar entrenamiento para profesores de lengua inglesa recientemente graduados, que es algo que anteriormente no habíamos hecho, y también estamos incluyendo entrenamiento para jóvenes que están en el año terminal de sus carreras pedagógicas.
En la última etapa hemos explorado nuevas líneas de trabajo. Por ejemplo, hicimos por primera vez un taller de enseñanza remota desde nuestro centro de idiomas en Argentina para un grupo de profesores en el Ministerio de Educación Superior en la Universidad de las Ciencias Informáticas de La Habana, donde también desarrollamos entrenamientos sobre la elaboración de exámenes y la evaluación en general. Otro ejemplo son los talleres que realizamos con fondos de proyectos de la Embajada Británica sobre el diseño e implementación de políticas educacionales para la enseñanza de la lengua inglesa y sobre el marco común de referencia europeo para las lenguas.
I've met some really lovely people, had some fabulous conversations. The people I meet, well, we're teachers. We talk together like teachers. You kind of understand each other almost immediately, because whether you're a Cuban teacher or a Vietnamese teacher or a German teacher or a British teacher or a Spanish teacher, some of the things we talk about, we share a massive common bond. Because some of the experiences we have in the classroom are very similar. You know, whether you're working in Matanzas or Munich or Madrid or wherever. And this cultural exchange of art and teaching and science and stuff, wow. And since then, I've had the opportunity to come back with the council on 2 more occasions, and it makes me feel proud. Makes me feel proud of the UK that invests money in the British Council to make these exchanges possible. And it makes me feel proud of my fellow teachers, the Cuban teachers I meet, and the work that we're all trying to do together. And the fact is, together we're stronger than we are apart.
Hello and welcome. We are Teodora Naiba and Cristiano Ashan, and together we are going to explore some of the reasons why you might find climate action in language education interesting, and also why you and your learners might be very motivated to talk more about climate in your language classes. It might be a surprising connection, but there is a connection. And actually, we have a little bit of reason behind this initiative. Theo, tell us why we are doing this, why we started doing this year. We will have to continue, but why have we started in 2021?
Because of the timing. Because this year, the UK hosts the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties in Glasgow in November 2021, also known as COP26. And it's an international summit which brings together heads of state, climate experts, and campaigners to tackle climate change. And British Council is supporting this initiative, and Christiana will tell us how.
Thank you. Indeed, the British Council got involved and created this massive project entitled The Climate Connection. You can find it if you just look for British Council and Climate Connection, you will definitely find the website. You will see that there are lots of resources that you can use in your classes. You can find inspiration from our podcasts. You can also find lots of contests for teachers and for students. One of them is just about to decide on the winners, so it would be interesting to take a look at that. And also more information about the course for teachers, and it's called the Climate Action in Language Education. Why did we decide to do this course? Theo, can you tell us a bit about that, about the starting point?
Yes, of course. There is a lot of data that have been collected as a baseline study through, desk research, online surveys taken by teachers, institutions, students, a lot of interviews. And there are some findings which we hope that you will also find interesting.
We definitely found them interesting because look at out of the 2,500 students, teenage students who answered the survey, only a quarter of them said that they actually have done some school projects related to climate change in English. On the other hand, the numbers are reversed, meaning that 3/4 of them almost say that they would like to have these climate topics included in their English lessons. So that's motivating. It means that they do want us to start doing this. It's also important for us. I think it's important to realize that learners, especially teenagers, gather information mostly from the social media and only 14% from school. we have to do something. We have to change these numbers, and we have to be the ones who inform the students correctly. How about the teachers?
So let's see what the teachers said. As you can see, 87% of the teachers believe that they have a significant role to play in climate change and education, and we totally agree with them. But also surprisingly, 80% of them feel the need to be trained on this topic because they probably don't know how to handle it. And as you can see, quite a lot of them haven't received any training or support in this respect.
So that's why we are here.
Exactly.
We want to offer that opportunity to get trained, that opportunity to exchange ideas with other teachers doing the same things, to get some inspiration. And actually, we have to confess that we have run this course a few times. And we have noticed that teachers who took the course noticed some unexpected results, meaning that, of course, they realized the students got engaged in these topics, which is great. We want them to be really participative and to be engaged in the classes. But more than that, the topics were taken out of the class and taken into the school, into the community, and why not in the larger society. So our teaching has a bigger impact when we talk about something like this that really has a meaning today. So, all right, there is a need. Now we have the opportunity. What should motivate us as teachers to include these topics in our language classes?
Well, we are language teachers. So we want to teach our students vocabulary and structures because this is what we do. And this, by doing this in connection to this topic, we help them communicate with people all around the world on the topic of climate change. So we give them the tool to be part of this community, which is involved and tries to take action in this respect.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. So indeed, we can't say, oh no, I'm just a language teacher, I can't do that. We teach relevant vocabulary. More than that, when we work on vocabulary and structures related to culture, we actually prepare learners for international exams and international certificates. And quite often teachers say, oh, I don't have time to do anything else outside what I usually do because I have to prepare my learners for exams. But doing this, talking about current issues, among which we can definitely list climate action, we actually help them perform very well in these certificates.
And as Christiana mentioned earlier, learning takes place inside and outside the classroom. So we can help our students and enable them to make connection to the real world. So in this case, language becomes meaningful and useful, and it plays an important role in their action, in their taking action in this topic.
Nicely put. I like the connection between language and action. Furthermore, we help the learners develop some 21st century skills like doing research, developing their critical thinking, even creative or lateral thinking. So there are certain skills that we develop and that will help them. After all, they are life skills, right? They will actually be able to apply these things in their everyday life.
And speaking of life skills and speaking of life in general, learners become more sensitive towards and more appreciative of nature while doing this, while studying this topic. And of course, in time, they develop a healthy lifestyle. So in the long run, very beneficial for their well-being as well.
And for ours, because we all need a little bit of a boost in terms of lifestyle and happiness. And most of all, we have to be aware of the fact that we also have to do this because it's a crisis. We cannot afford to wait anymore. And because we're talking about a crisis, let's take a look at what is happening in terms of language. We have certain phrases here on the left and some new ones that are tending to replace them on the right. Teho, do you think you can explain maybe one of the changes or explain why we are going through these changes? why should we change the terms we use?
I think we are lucky because as language teachers, we have language as a powerful tool, and this can have a big impact on our students. And because we've used a lot climate change, we've talked about global warming, biodiversity, and somehow they have lost their impact and they have lost their energy somehow. And times have changed, and things have unfortunately haven't got better. So they are, as Christiana said, because it's a crisis, we need to replace them with something that can have a more a bigger emotional impact on our students. Like, for example, taking global warming, warming tends to be a positive adjective, and we feel comfortable with it, but it's not longer global warming, it's global heating. Somehow it draws attention. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
It prompts action, right?
Exactly.
We have to do something now.
Exactly.
And furthermore, some of these terms are no longer scientifically accurate. As you mentioned, warming is no longer the case. The warming would suggest something slow and developing slowly, while actually the phenomenon is taking place quite rapidly. So we do hope that we convince you to follow us more and to try to implement some of these climate topics in your classes. And we will take a look at how we can do that in the next videos.
Desde el British Council Cuba presentamos Inglés para el Desarrollo, nuestro nuevo ciclo de acciones de colaboración en alianza con los Ministerios de Educación y Educación Superior y las asociaciones profesionales. Juntos promovemos oportunidades para los docentes cubanos de lengua inglesa en línea con los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible de la Agenda 2030. Ampliamos la red de intercambio en el sector de la educación y conectamos Cuba y el Reino Unido a través de la enseñanza del inglés. Sigue nuestras acciones como parte de Inglés para el Desarrollo desde las redes sociales.
Hello, and welcome to this video. We are here together with Teodora to look at some ways, practical ways, in which we can include climate action in language education. Practically, how we can approach this topic of climate action in our language classes. And of course, there isn't just one way. It would be boring if we could do things, all of us, in just one way. There are several options. Probably the easiest one and the most immediate one would be to develop a bit the lessons that are already in our course books. You know that in every course book, there is a lesson or a unit dedicated to the environment. We can build on that, we can expand, we can come up with something that adds value and maybe even new content. Anything else though?
Well, you've mentioned that we have something already there, yes, like the course book, but why not give our regular classes an environmental twist, a green twist? Like, for example, adding some videos which are connected to the lesson, but also connected to the climate change topic, or an additional task like a debate or like writing an essay or a proposal. There are many ways when you can add this twist to the lesson.
That's right. Sometimes just a question is enough.
Exactly.
We will see later on how we can do that. Of course, if we see that the learners are really interested in the topic and we want to develop this, we can design whole lessons on environmental issues. That is part of the course we are doing, Climate Action in Language Education. So you can find out more there. Of course, in this video, we cannot cover such a large topic.
And I think as language teachers, we are lucky because we can bring any topic into our classroom, and we can create opportunities for research and action, like projects for the class or the school or the community. Why not volunteering in local organization and taking action?
All this sounds very good. Now let's see some practical ideas, some things that we can do immediately in our classes. We could start with some pictures. Theo, if you were to approach this topic with your learners, Which one do you think would be more suitable, the polar bear or the lady cleaning the beach?
So I think the lady cleaning the beach, taking into consideration the fact that my students are teenagers, so probably it will appeal more to them as they find themselves in this picture. I mean, it's something that they can see around them. It's quite next to them. So it's a very practical approach, I would say.
It's more immediate. They can feel a connection. Actually,
Exactly.
there are studies that show that generally people react better to pictures with other people, with humans, because we can put ourselves in their shoes, as you were saying. And if you were to teach a primary class, Theo, would you choose the same picture?
Yeah, I think I would relate more to the, to the polar bear, because, we know that they love animals, and they would feel more, I don't know, close to this.
Yes.
And they love animals. This is part of their life at this moment.
Exactly. So it depends on our context, but in general, our advice is to choose pictures that learners can relate to, even ask learners to come up with pictures of issues that surround them, or find something, pictures or videos, why not, in the news, something that localizes your topic. It's something that you can see in your community. And once we have decided on the picture, let's say the one with cleaning the beach, what can we do with it? First of all, we are language teachers, so we can start with the description of the picture. And of course, we can work on vocabulary, specific vocabulary, but also on structures, present, continuous, past tense, why not maybe even future, to ask them what will happen next. The next step?
A good starting point would be appealing to their feelings, to our learners' feelings. What do they feel when they see a beach like this? And it's a very nice way to introduce the topic and also to raise awareness among our students.
I agree. And once that emotional part is engaged, we can also tap into the cognitive part. We can go into identifying the causes. We can also gauge what the learners already know about the causes behind this kind of pollution, and what we still need to discuss or discover together with them.
And of course, we can ask them, what do people do in general to improve this situation? And they have an example in the picture, but they can also think about other examples of people that have taken action around them. And taking it further, yes?
Yeah, personalize it. We said localize it and then take it at a personal level. How can you help? How can we help? This is great because the teacher is part of the group in these kind of activities, and we can decide together on what kind of action we can take. Another activity we can use is something that Theo and I designed for a project that we did in Romania together with British Council and the British Embassy. We mentioned the fact that we are language teachers, Theo. This is something we, of course, feel comfortable with. But how can we combine the two areas?
Well, I think that we need to equip our students with the necessary language in order to deal with the topic. And we can start from a simple, pre-teaching of adjectives like the one in the picture, and simply ask them to arrange them, put them gradually in on a scale from freezing to going slowly to hotter,
right?
So that we can, reach this burning issue, and we have all this, all the tools at hand. And if you can do this online, like playing a bit with the PowerPoint, like we are doing now. Christiana is doing it right now. And also, if you're in the classroom and you have a face-to-face class, you can simply give some of the students these words on big slips of paper, and they should arrange themselves in order, and it makes it more visual. It appeals to kinesthetic students, and it makes the lesson a bit more engaging and interactive.
Yes, and once they know the vocabulary and they can talk about weather with this vocabulary, we can ask them maybe to compare. They can talk to people in their house and find out how the weather was when they were children and compare with what is happening right now. That's a great one, I think. And then, because you mentioned they were combining different learning preferences, we can also go back to visuals. We used pictures before, but this time we can just ask them to label, if you want, to identify the extreme weather conditions that appear in the pictures and find the right words. Of course, we can, again, make things more interesting and more immediate for our learners if we ask them to come up with the pictures themselves and with other extreme weather conditions that they can notice in their own environment. And there are plenty, unfortunately. So again, localize and personalize, make it their own.
And make it interesting and relevant, as you said, to their own situation, and also choose images that have an impact on them, and they can also come up with a story behind the image. They can guess the place, because we know that these days in very many different parts of the world, extreme weather is quite unfortunately is quite a common phenomenon. So like, you know, in the Arctic area where you can find wildfires, which is quite unexpected, so it will definitely have a powerful impact on them.
That's true. So these are just a couple of examples. We hope you found them useful to get you started. For more, you can join us on the Climate Action in Language Education course.
Desde el British Council Cuba presentamos Inglés para el Desarrollo, nuestro nuevo ciclo de acciones de colaboración en alianza con los Ministerios de Educación y Educación Superior y las asociaciones profesionales. Juntos promovemos oportunidades para los docentes cubanos de lengua inglesa en línea con los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible de la Agenda 2030. Ampliamos la red de intercambio en el sector de la educación y conectamos Cuba y el Reino Unido a través de la enseñanza del inglés. Sigue nuestras acciones como parte de Inglés para el Desarrollo desde las redes sociales.
Hello. We hope that you are going to enjoy this video, in which we are going to look at some practical ideas on how to bring climate action in our language classes, not only through lessons and activities, but maybe also through some other things that could take the learning outside the classroom. Let's take a look at what I mean. First of all, the easiest thing would be to rely on the course books we have, but maybe to use them creatively, not use them as usual. It would be nice to put on a pair of green shades, and every time you approach a topic, add an environmental twist, a green twist. Owen, who is our writer for the second module in the course, said it very nicely: hack the course book, ninja environmental issues into your teaching wherever you can. So even seamlessly, you can just ask questions that would make the learners think about the impact of certain things on the environment. We will show you in a minute how that can be done. So why don't you tell us some of the most common topics that we have in the course book?
Well, some of the most common, as you said, are probably the ones that you see on the slide. And I will give you a second to reflect on this question. Which ones or one can be given a green twist? Well, most of the teachers we have worked with said that transportation, because probably it's a topic that is very common to the learners, and it's something that is very practical, because you can ask the learners, how often do you come to school by bike, or how do you, if you share a car. So, and also a lot of them related to wild animals and animals in general, because it's a topic that is really connected to the environment and the climate change topic. And of course, you can find green twists to all the others in the end. Christiana, can you think about any others?
Absolutely. I think all of them are really appropriate. We just have to think a little bit, be creative, think outside the box, and think about what we can do in order to add that green twist. For instance, for food, you can ask learners to research which food is most environmentally friendly, or what is the carbon footprint of a certain type of food, which can be quite interesting. But let's choose one that teachers usually don't refer to. They think that fashion is more difficult in terms of connection with the climate crisis. Here is an example of how we can actually do that, and it comes from Daniel, who is the writer of the third module of the course. Daniel suggested choosing some very familiar clothing item like the jeans, and we can ask the learners how many pairs of jeans they actually own. Of course, we have to include ourselves and be part of the group. We have to add all the pairs of jeans that we have, and we have to be honest, all of us, the learners and the teacher, because all of us have some jeans that we bought and we wore once or twice and then we forgot about them. But now we have to be honest and add everything up. You will see that you will come up with quite a big number of jeans. Then we can tell them that it takes 45,000 liters of water to make a pair of jeans. How many Olympic swimming pools, which are actually 2.5 million liters, did all our jeans used? Do you think this would help, Theo, transferring the numbers from liters into Olympic swimming pools?
Definitely, because otherwise I couldn't imagine what 45,000 liters mean. But now that you mentioned, Olympic swimming pools, it suddenly becomes real.
Yes.
And I can imagine the amount of water and do a bit of math, of course. Why not?
Yes, exactly. So we can somehow make it real, make it something that they can see, they can actually imagine, as you said. So once we have done that, we can also, maybe they don't have the answers for the next question in the class. We can ask them to do some research at home. Where do you think this water is used in the manufacture of the jeans? At what stage? When growing the cotton, when processing the cotton, in the dyeing part, in the transportation of the jeans from the manufacturer to the shops and so on. So they can do some research, and I guarantee the results are quite interesting. And of course, the last part would be, what can we do to reduce the cost of our clothes on the environment? There are many ideas here to continue. Theo, anything that you would add, or you would enlarge the topic by adding something else?
First of all, I really like the idea that it's a transcurricular approach here, and you have a bit of math, a bit of language, and a bit of others, actually, other topics, other subjects from school. And I would take it further to the idea of shopping, because they love shopping, especially the teenagers. And I will ask them to do some research on the Buy Nothing movement. Maybe they can find some interesting and surprising facts, which would probably they could take further into an action, something like a project or a competition. Why not?
Yes, exactly, a challenge. And because you mentioned all these ideas, let's think about something that can be done maybe outside the classroom. Even our classes can be done outside the classroom.
Yes, that's for sure.
Have you tried this though?
Yes, of course. And you know that we always say that we want to bring the world into the classroom, and as language teachers we can do that, and we are lucky to be able to do this. But why not take the classroom into the world and do some have some classes in the nature, with some very hands-on project that the students may relate to. And because we use language to communicate, and it's easy to communicate outside, not to mention it's safer and also healthier.
Yes, absolutely. We said that we need a closer bond with nature to feel more responsible. This is one way to achieve it. You said that projects can be developed from any kind of topic. We can just give them a challenge, a project. This is something we have tried, and it was very successful with our learners. Even adults tried it. So the idea is to collect the plastic that you personally generate and then take a picture of the bag or the bags that of the plastic that was generated in 1 week. And then for the next week, learners are challenged to make a conscious effort to reduce the amount of plastic they use. And then compare and maybe write a project, investigate, find some course of action that could be implemented in the long run. This is very successful because it makes us aware of how one person can have a huge impact on the environment. And now let's look, just to sum up, at some ideas we have mentioned, or maybe just to give you some inspiration. There are 8 points here. Let's hope that at least some of them are immediately applicable in your context. First of all, start by talking about this. Make learners aware of the fact that this is an issue. Theo?
And remember that you are always part of the group and you are doing this along with your learners. So whatever challenge you give them, do it yourself so that you are a role model for them. And you can personalize the course book, create your own lessons that are relevant and find topics that are relevant to your students and to the local community you live in.
And nowadays, there are more and more free resources online that you can use. As I mentioned before, if you go to the Climate Connection, look for British Council, the Climate Connection, you will find plenty of resources. And we've just shown you how to embed sustainability throughout your teaching and how to go outside and teach outdoors.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, projects, why not do something, take action, do projects together with your students. Maybe you have communities of practice around you in your local community, or maybe you can start your own. Why not have a green corner in the school and where you can present all the everything that you found out or everything that your students have found out in different research and all the projects that they have been doing.
That's a very nice idea. And think about the benefits for you as teachers. This is a new chapter in your professional development, something new to learn. And it's now. Now we have to learn, now we have to act, and now we have to inspire our learners. So good luck with that, and we hope to see you on the course.
A leaf on its own may seem small, but many leaves together allow trees to grow, forests to form, worlds of wildlife to thrive. That single leaf becomes powerful, a force for growth and for change. You can make change too, together with world leaders, to protect our planet. In November, world leaders will meet at COP26 in Glasgow to decide the next steps in tackling climate change. The decisions they take there will shape all our futures, including yours. Your voice matters. COP26 is an opportunity to get your voice heard. The world is warming up. Human actions are breaking the planet's natural balance that keeps us comfortable, healthy, and safe. People in poorer countries are affected most, even though they did the least to cause this crisis. Global warming impacts the future for all living things on Earth, including us. We need urgent change, and we need it to be fair. We all need to work together for our planet. World leaders, businesses, local communities, and people of all ages, including you and me, to create a sustainable future for everyone. Here's what you can do. Make a leaf. On one side, write your own promise to the planet. On the other side, write a promise you want world leaders to make. Then share your leaf with leaders at COP26 and with the world to say what you will commit to provide a solution for climate change and all our futures. Your leaf will join other people's leaves from across the world to create a global forest of promises. Promises we'll all keep to protect our precious planet. And we'll be watching world leaders and holding them to their promises too. It's our climate. It's our future. Let's protect it together. leaf on its own may seem small, but many leaves together allow trees to grow, forests to form, worlds of wildlife to thrive. That single leaf becomes powerful, a force for growth and for change. You can make change too, together with world leaders, to protect our planet. In November, world leaders will meet at COP26 in Glasgow to decide the next steps in tackling climate change. The decisions they take there will shape all our futures, including yours. Your voice matters. COP26 is an opportunity to get your voice heard. The world is warming up. Human actions are breaking the planet's natural balance that keeps us comfortable, healthy, and safe. People in poorer countries are affected most, even though they did the least to cause this crisis. Global warming impacts the future for all living things on Earth, including us. We need urgent change, and we need it to be fair. We all need to work together for our planet. World leaders, businesses, local communities, and people of all ages, including you and me, to create a sustainable future for everyone. Here's what you can do. Make a leaf. On one side, write your own promise to the planet. On the other side, write a promise you want world leaders to make. Then share your leaf with leaders at COP26 and with the world to say what you will commit to provide a solution for climate change and all our futures. Your leaf will join other people's leaves from across the world to create a global forest of promises. Promises we'll all keep to protect our precious planet. And we'll be watching world leaders and holding them to their promises too. It's our climate. It's our future. Let's protect it together.
Hello, my name is Jailet Landrove and I am the Arts and English Manager of the British Council Office in Cuba. Thank you all for taking part in this presentation today. The British Council is the UK's organization for cultural relations and educational opportunities. We build connections and trust between the people in the UK and people from other countries. We have offices in more than 100 countries around the world, and in the case of Cuba, we have had a presence here for more than 20 years now, during which we have collaborated with the Ministries of Culture, Education and Higher Education mainly. Our English program is mainly focused on providing training opportunities for English language teachers and students all around the island. Through this presentation, I will be showing you how our office in Cuba has joined the global efforts that our organization has developed through its initiative, the Climate Connection. I will be also sharing a summary of the training, actions, and events that to address this topic we have carried out together with all our local partners in Cuba. And if you are wondering what is the Climate Connection, let me tell you. The Climate Connection is a global platform to promote the dialogue, the cooperation, to share ideas and to motivate actions that contribute to tackle the serious climate change crisis that our planet is currently going through is an initiative of our organization. And why is this so important this year? Well, obviously, it's been important for many years. However, in addition to working towards the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 13 of the 2030 Agenda, there is a special reason why the British Council has come out with this initiative this year. And that is because of the UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, also known as COP26, that, as many of you might know, is currently being held at the city of Glasgow, United Kingdom, with the presence of heads of state, experts, and campaigners who are working together to find solutions and come to agreements to tackle the climate change crisis. In this global platform created by the British Council, there are many free resources that you can find and might be useful for teachers and also for students. You can find podcasts, webinars, training opportunities, lessons plans, and many other resources. In our office, in order to promote all these resources and to make them easily available to our teachers, we have been sharing every Monday through our Facebook page some of these resources, and we will continue to do so during the coming weeks. Another contribution of our office on this regard is that we have been sharing all those resources through our bi-monthly newsletter, English for You. So you are on time to join it in case that you haven't done it already. And I will also recommend you to visit the Americas website for updated news, training opportunities, and a lot more. Here you can find all those links in case you want to access those sites later on. So what is the role of teachers with regard to climate action? Well, why is it so important that teachers have access to all those resources and that they include climate change in their lessons plans? Obviously, there are plenty of reasons, but some of them is that the climate change negatively impacts our lives in so many different ways, and teachers play a critical role to raise awareness and to motivate actions among their students, your institutions, and even in your communities. Teachers like you inspire and motivate their students, and they can also influence their attitude towards climate change, both inside and outside the classroom. Teachers obviously are not climate change experts, and they are not expected to be. However, they should be ready and equipped to motivate proactivity among their students, and they can do so also by facilitating all these important conversations in the classroom. And they will be, in summary, empowering their students, and that will make a difference for sure. English language teachers will not only teach English grammar, phonetics, vocabulary, and so on when addressing climate change in their lessons. They will be also leading their students to become more sensitive towards this very important topic and to understand how important it is that they play their own part in this global fight that we all actually are living nowadays. And who are the main partners that work along us for the delivery and the planning of all these activities? Well, all the work we have done here in Cuba and we will continue to do is possible only due to the close collaboration a mutual support relationship generated with our main local partners. In order to plan, deliver, and replicate these training actions that are part of our program, we count on the strong and long-lasting alliance with the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Higher Education, the teachers' associations that are the APCL and the ILSGELI, and also we count on the support of many universities. Some of them are the University Marta Abreu, the University of Cienfuegos, the University of Oriente, and the University of Informatic Sciences. So, to all of you, thank you so much for your collaboration and for your sharing your expertise with us. So, just to share with you some of the actions that we have done as part of this collaboration this year, I will mention some of them. Introducing environmental issues into ELT, organized and facilitated by the APCL, the Comisión Nacional de Carreras, and in collaboration with the University Marta Abreu. We supported the participation of 3 focal point teachers on the Climate Action in Language Education Professional Development course, and these 3 teachers have multiplicated these trainings and designed new ones as well. Environmental education in English language teaching, the summer training organized and facilitated by the ILSGELI in collaboration with the University of Oriente is another example. Climate Change and Girls Education Global Webinar. We supported the participation of 3 female focal points teachers. We also took part in the national webinar, We Can Make the Difference, that was organized by the Ministry of Education, and introducing environmental issues into foreign language teaching, an online postgraduate course organized and delivered by our partners at the University Marta Abreu. As you can see, it's been a lot, and it's been a lot just in a very few months. So thank you so much to all those people who have made this possible. And what is really very important about this is the impact that these actions generate. For example, we have reached around 500 teachers from all educational levels. All the Cuban provinces have been represented, including the special municipality of Isla de la Juventud. 60% of the benefited teachers belong to the basic education. The 64% of teachers engaged are female teachers. Approximately 1 in 2 teachers participating in these actions is under 35 years old. These are some of the highlights. And something else we would like to share with you is a great example of best practice on these actions linked to our support of the Climate Connection initiative of the British Council. And this is that on October 12th, the first of a series of TV lessons on environmental issues was aired on Cuban television as part of this collaboration between the Ministry of Education and the British Council. The class is also part of Cuba's experience in remote teaching, and it was aimed at more than 1,800 first and second year students of English in pedagogical careers all over the country. It also reached over 100 train-the-trainers teachers from all the different provinces. The 80% of all these teachers will become primary school teachers. So this is an outstanding result that we wanted to share with all of you. And in case you want to have more details and watch the lesson we are talking about, you can access the link in this slide. And something else we have done to motivate teachers and students and on the island to get involved with the Climate Connection actions. is our contest, Environment and English Teaching. We are very pleased about the number, quality, and diversity of the proposals received that include community projects, lessons plans, and class systems. And we are also very impressed by the wide representation of provinces, genres, age groups, and educational levels. So, well done by all of you. Thank you so much for taking part. And today, I am very, very happy to announce who the lucky winners are. So pay attention because you might be one of them. José Alfonso Hernández, teacher from the University of Pinar del Río Province. Leslie Márquez Manals, teacher from the secondary school Uber de Blanc from Havana Province. Greta Guerra Cruz and Talia Portal Garcia, fifth-year students of Bachelor in Foreign Languages from the University Marta Abreu from Villa Clara Province. Daniela Gallardo Noa and Yailin Flores Contino, teachers from the secondary school República de Nicaragua and methodologists from Dirección Municipal de Educación Cotorro, respectively, both from Havana Province. Betsy Amalia Garcia and Evianis Deborah González, fifth-year students of Bachelor in Foreign Languages from the University José Martí Pérez from Santi Espíritus Province. And Lázara de la Caridad Orozco Gutiérrez, fifth-year student of Bachelor in Foreign Languages from University Marta Abreu in Villa Clara Province. To all of you, congratulations. Our team will be soon in contact with all of you to make sure that you receive all the awards corresponding. And these awards include 1 year of full membership at IATEFL, the UK's International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language, and also an invitation to participate at BBOT, British Council's International Conference, that will be held virtually in February 2022. So again, congratulations to all of you. And thanks to all the ones who participated. So this presentation has come to an end now. Thanks to everyone involved in all these actions, and I will leave with an invitation to our next global event as part of the Climate Connection, the International Education Week from the 15th to the 19th of November. And this is another great opportunity to keep learning and exchange it about climate change. Thank you all so much for your attention and hopefully see you soon.
Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021, del 9 al 11 de noviembre en plataformas virtuales. Te invitamos a intercambiar sobre tendencias actuales en la enseñanza del inglés y el cambio climático en la educación lingüística. Inglés para el Desarrollo Conferencia Bienal Cuba 2021, un espacio para conectar, intercambiar, crecer.